The first time I heard it, I thought someone dropped a heavy weight. But no, it was a burp. Loud, wet, echoing across the entire gym. People froze. One girl physically flinched. Someone muttered something under their breath. And the guy who did it? He just smiled like he owned the room. That was the moment I realized, if nobody was going to stop him, maybe I should. If you've ever been in a situation where someone's behavior slowly pushes you toward a breaking point, hit like, subscribe, and stay till the end. Because today's story is about culture shock, silent frustration, and a revenge so petty it actually worked. When I moved from Vancouver to a hyper-crowded Asian metropolis called Harbor City, I thought I was ready. New job, new apartment, new language, new lifestyle. What I wasn't ready for was the noise. Not traffic, not construction. Human noise, the kind that feels invasive. On buses, old men would burp loudly, like it was punctuation. In public parks, teenagers would do it mid-conversation. Walking through markets, it was like a soundtrack I never signed up for. At first, I tried to be understanding. Different cultures, different norms. You don't move across the world and expect everything to feel familiar. But understanding something doesn't mean you enjoy it. And slowly, irritation started turning into something heavier. The hardest part about being an outsider isn't language. It's silence. The kind of silence where you want to say something, but you don't know how. You rehearse sentences in your head. You translate emotions into broken phrases. And then you just stay quiet. Because confrontation feels impossible. Because you don't want to look rude, or ignorant, or weak. So you adapt. You tolerate. You swallow your discomfort. Until one day it spills out. The gym was supposed to be my safe place. Air-conditioned. Structured. Predictable. That morning I was halfway through my workout when it happened. A guy at the station next to mine finished a heavy set. Then he leaned forward and released the loudest burp I had ever heard indoors. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't subtle. It was performative, like a declaration. People reacted instantly. One woman paused her music, stared at him, then put on headphones with visible disgust. Another guy simply walked away from the area. But the burping guy, he kept going, set after set, burp after burp. At first I tried to ignore it, focus on breathing, focus on reps, focus on anything except the sound that kept breaking my concentration. But irritation is like pressure. It builds quietly. Then suddenly it needs release. My chest felt tight. My jaw locked. My thoughts became sharper. Why does he think this is okay? Why is nobody saying anything? Why am I the one adjusting? Again, that was when the idea came. Simple, petty, effective, if he could do it freely. So could I. After finishing my next set, I grabbed my water bottle, took a long exaggerated chug, waited, and then I burped, not aggressively, but loud enough to cut through the gym noise. His head snapped toward me. Good. I did it again after the next set. Now he was watching me. Third time, he walked over, started speaking rapidly in the local language, his tone sharp, his gestures impatient. I blinked calmly and said, "Sorry, English." That made him even angrier. Finally, he switched languages. Stop burping. The hypocrisy hit me like caffeine. I smiled slightly. I'll stop when you stop. Silence. Real silence this time. He stared at me, calculating. Then something changed in his expression. Not defeat, but realization for the rest of the workout. He didn't burp once. Not after heavy sets. Not even quietly. The entire atmosphere of the gym shifted. People stayed. Nobody looked uncomfortable anymore. And me? I finished my session with a strange mix of satisfaction and disbelief. I hadn't yelled, hadn't insulted him, hadn't caused a scene. I simply mirrored his behavior until he understood how it felt. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone. It's about holding up a mirror, about showing people the impact of their actions in a language they can't ignore. That day, I realized something important. Being respectful doesn't mean being silent forever. If this story made you think or reminded you of a moment when you finally stood up for yourself, hit like and tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might be even more intense.